Hello, my Juicy co-creators. Lilu here on the Juicy Living Tour in California. Santa Mama. Oh my God, the weather's beautiful. I love
Isn't it gorgeous? Oh, so beautiful.
And I'm with Dane. You remember Dane? I was interviewing him on Skype, and I had to come. We had to meet here in Santa Barbara. You just flew in from Texas.
Yes, from Texas, where I now live. I used to live in Santa Barbara. As of, a month ago now, I've been living in Houston, which is just an interesting experience. Let's put it that way. I love it. I love my house. I love the space around it. And I'm learning to adapt to a different environment. Let's put it that way.
But you're being you. That's
Exactly.
the title of your book, Being You, Changing the World. And I think so many beautiful co-creators out there are dying to know, how can I live this infinite, beautiful, amazing, juicy life every single day? Because it's not just one day here, one day there. Huh?
Yeah, and that's the thing is, it's like it's possible. It's possible to have it so that so much of your life is so much lighter. And you'll still have bummer times, you'll still have down times. We all do. But there'll be a lot less down and a lot less of a bummer, and the highs will be a lot more consistent and a lot higher. And literally, that's what's possible. The tools are available. It's just that most of what we've been handed and what people have told us about how to create change doesn't work very well, and we try it and we try it and we try it and it doesn't work, or it works for a little while and then it stops working. And then we always go to, wow, what did I do wrong? Well, what if it's not you that's wrong? What if it's the tool that doesn't work that you're trying to apply to this particular situation? Yeah. We just need some different tools.
Yeah, it's like, how about maybe we're not asking ourselves the right questions?
Yeah, a lot of times, because a lot of times we ask the question, what's wrong with me? Yeah. How did I screw this up? Well, that's not a question. I'm sorry. It's not really, it sounds like a question, but it's a conclusion that you're wrong and you're bad with a question mark at the end of it. That doesn't help any of us. It's time to come out of the wrongness of us and actually start realizing. And you can do that. There's one real cool question you can ask is, what's right about me I'm not getting? If you were just to go through, I would just take one day and go, what's right about me I'm not getting? And just do it all day long. I mean, I've asked it once and I'm smiling more. You know what I mean? Yes. But if we were to literally do that and take the tools that are being presented to us and use them like that and just go, okay, what's right about me I'm not getting? Oh, what else is right about me I'm not getting? What else is right about me I'm not getting? What it does, it starts to create a lightness, because you start to come out of that sense that you're somehow wrong for who you're being or how you're acting or what you're doing, because so many of us walk around with that. And the weird part to me is the seekers of the world, the glorious co-creators that are watching this right now, are always the people that are in judgment of themselves, and they think they're judgmental. They're the people in the world who aren't judgmental. Okay, it's the seekers of the world that think they're in judgment that aren't. It's the non-seekers of the world that are judging everyone else and everything, and they don't ever think they're judgmental. So here's a tool I'd like to share with people, okay? Like, for example, have you ever thought you're judgmental, Lilu?
Yeah.
Yeah, right? Don't we all? You know what? Guess what? That actually proves that you're not judgmental. You know why? Because people who truly are judgmental never think, oh my God, I'm so judgmental. They just know they're right. Yeah. The people who truly aren't judgmental but think they are the only ones who judge themselves for judging, even though they're not really judging. They just think they're judging.
So we're conscious of it.
Exactly. And you're cognitive, and you're conscious, you're aware of the energy of that in the world, and a lot of times you think it's yours. A lot of times you're just aware of the energy of something and you think you're judging someone. Like, for example, if you walk by somebody who's got judgments of their body, like they go, oh my gosh, I'm too fat, for example. In your head, you pick it up and you go, oh my God, they're too fat. And I realize fat is not politically correct, and I would never say that to somebody, but that's the judgment that people walk around with of themselves. And you think you're judgmental when you pick up that judgment because you pick up that energy. But what if it's not even theirs? What if it's not yours? What if it's not theirs? What if it's what's been projected at them from parents, family, and all kinds of other people their whole lives? And what if it's time to come out of this thing of buying that as real? Because if you look at somebody like that and you align and agree with it, you make it real. What if you looked at it and went, wait a minute, is this actually true? Is this actually mine? No. Wow, okay, cool. Is it actually theirs? No, it's what they have been burdened with their whole lives. And when you stop seeing it as real for you or them, the burden comes off of them too. And it comes off of you.
It has a little to do with Ho'oponopono. I know here we're talking of access consciousness, but it has kind of to heal, or it's even easier, I guess, because the Ho'oponopono is all about the forgiving ourselves and being the light. But here I hear there's a lot more light coming in because of this process and saying it's not ours, or what's out there is also what we have in there, and it's kind of all the same.
Well, yeah, and it's the thing that you want to realize is it's your awareness of what's going on. It's your awareness of the energies of things. And it's designed to create more lightness. Because what happens is what's true always makes you feel lighter. A lie always makes you feel heavier. So when you're buying all kinds of lies about you, even the lie that you're judgmental, it always makes you feel heavier. Because what if you're not? So when I say,
ooh, we hear the horse.
I know we have a horse. Yay.
Oh my goodness, you should see this.
Oh, you should see that. Oh, there's a beautiful horse.
Gary Douglas that I'm going to interview just after Dane is actually riding this amazing, beautiful horse.
Oh, it's beautiful. Hopefully she'll take some video of him on the horse because it's just a sight to behold. Yeah. So, and the thing about watching Gary ride a horse is he's in total communion with the horse. He's totally present with the horse. The horse is totally present with him. They're like one. And you can perceive that energy. Well, you know what? That's the way we ought to be able to be with each other too. Yeah. And unfortunately, it's what we don't allow because we think we're judgmental when we're actually not. So what it is we end up going into judgment of us and thinking we're somehow wrong, except we weren't judging in the first place. We were just aware that these people are walking around with these judgments that weren't even theirs either. I know. And that is what I'd like to change. Well, that's a big part of what I'd like to change. By giving people the awareness of, hey, are you truly judgmental or not? And, you know, and we can also move off the subject of judgment anytime because it gets really heavy in people's worlds, you know. But what I want to let you know, guys, is you're not nearly as screwed up as you thought you were. You're not nearly as mean. You're not nearly as unkind. You're not nearly as judgmental. You're actually a lot cooler than you've given yourself credit for being. And when you start acknowledging that, your life gets a lot lighter and a lot more fun.
And so there's some questions, some specific question we talked about in a last video on Skype. But there's some things to free ourselves. What are some of those that you've learned? I know that you went through a hard time to get this.
Yeah, I went through a really hard time to get this. You know, I feel like I was, you know, walking through the forest with a pair of fingernail clippers, you know, trying to cut down the forest of insanity that was around me.
And you tried many different things.
Yeah, I tried many different things. And literally, 13 years ago, I was going to kill myself if things didn't change. I was like, I had had enough. I was tired of struggling because I'd do a weekend workshop and it would feel great, you know, and I'd feel so pumped and feel like I found the answer till Wednesday morning. I'd wake up and feel like the world was buried on top of me again. And so, you know, I made this demand. I'm like, universe, either I get real change this time or I'm killing myself. You got 6 months to make that happen.
You hear that?
Yeah, exactly. I know exactly, right?
You were at least you had some kind of relationship with the universe, or at least you knew that there was something out there.
Yes, and that was what all the studies I had done were based upon. You know, I had studied metaphysical stuff and spiritual stuff and psychological stuff and anything, because I knew there had to be a different possibility. And quite frankly, in my world, if there wasn't a different possibility, I didn't want to be here anymore because I didn't want to live that hateful, boring, spiteful, judgmental life that so many people seem was valuable. And, well, so came across Access Consciousness, changed it. So one of the things that you can do is you can ask, who does this belong to? If you ask, who does this belong to the thoughts, the feelings, the emotions, and the judgments you think you have on a daily basis, what'll happen is if you'll do it for 3 days, at the end of 3 days, you'll walk around like you're in a walking, talking meditation. So, for example, let's say you feel anger, fear, or judgment of something. You just ask, who does that belong to? If it lightens up at all, it's not yours. It's actually your acknowledgement that, oh, I'm just perceiving this. Because there's a huge difference between perceiving, like, for example, sadness. What's the difference between I perceive sadness and I'm sad? Well, in perceiving it, you're like, oh, I'm aware of this over here. In I'm sad, you're like, you've just taken it from over here, and now you're being it. And you create your energy that way, or your life that way, really. But it's the energy that you believe is you now. So what I'm asking people to do is please ask, who does this belong to? To all that. If you'll do it for 3 days, at the end of 3 days, you'll have a lightness you never knew could exist.
And do we need to find out exactly who that is?
No, thank God you don't. Thank goodness for that. Because most of the time you won't even know who it is. Yeah. Literally, it's like you wake up and you're in the hills of Santa Barbara, right? And you're like, yes, and you're on a horse farm. And so it's just so peaceful and joyful. And then you leave and you're driving down the freeway and you're having this great day. And all of a sudden you get really angry. And you're like, wait a minute, where did that come from? Well, what if it's the person driving next to you? And you don't even know them. They just got in an argument and that energy is radiating around them so much you perceive it. Well, so you don't have to know who it belongs to. You just have to know it's not yours, because if it's not yours, you can't do anything about it. I think one of the reasons so many people are so unsuccessful in creating change is because they're trying to change things that aren't theirs. Because if it's not your anger, how can you change it? You can't. You just have to acknowledge it's not yours, return it to whoever it came from with consciousness attached so they can change it if they want to, and move on with your life.
Same thing for public. I know that when you speak in public, there's all those things that come up. There must be, and people are looking at you, and no wonder so many people have fears. I mean,
Yeah.
this is the judgment of others.
Absolutely. And that's the thing is, public speaking is even greater than dying is a fear for most people. So it's kind of interesting, but that's why, because from my point of view, that's why, because you're standing up there and you're picking up all of their projections, all of their expectations, all their separations, all their judgments, all the rejections of them in every way, and them looking at you and going, oh my God, I could never do it. And so you stand up there and go, oh my God, I don't think I can do it. Well, what if that's all the points of view you're picking up on? And so if you're somebody who's in public or a public speaker or somebody who does videos or something, because even if you're doing videos, what you'll do is you'll be like, okay, who am I talking to? So you'll reach out to all those people around the world and try to speak to them. Well, and when you do, you pick up all their points of view.
I find that easier on video. Like, I don't hear that, whereas on public speaking, I would totally hear it and feel it because of the eyes and the
Right.
physical presence.
Right. You want to change it? Okay. Are you ready?
I'm sure I'm not the only one.
I know. It's funny. I did this. I was interviewed by somebody several years ago, and she's like, I can't make videos. I hate making videos. We did, 3 minutes of processing during the interview. And she called me a week later and said, oh my God, it's totally different. And she's been making videos ever since. And I was like, what else can we change?
That'll be really handy for me because I'm doing a TEDx conference in October. So 1,000 people. So
Yes.
this comes really, really, really,
Hey,
really
did you
handy.
hear that? Watch the darn TEDx thing. There. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. So get the feeling of performing in front of 10 people, doing a speech, a public thing.
Okay.
Just get all that energy. Everything that is, will you destroy and uncreate it, please?
Yes.
Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. Ooh, that's got some energy to it. Wow.
You feel that?
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, see, that's how I work on people is I'm aware of what they're going through. I don't take it on anymore, thank goodness.
Where do you put it?
No, exactly. It just
Where
goes.
does it go?
It's just an awareness. Just an awareness. That's why my hand wiggles because of the,
Yeah,
awareness,
your hand-
the energy when it
see
moves.
that?
I'm like, hi, how you doing? Can you imagine me at a dinner party meeting somebody new? Hi, how you doing? And they say something that brings up, and I'm like, ah. Yeah, I know. Well, these little social things I don't get sometimes. Okay, so get the feeling of standing in front of 100 people talking. Note it. You're like, everything that is times a gazillion. Will you destroy and create it, please? Yes. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. Okay, so I have a question for you. Notice that energy when I said 100 people. Notice how intense it got? Uh-huh. Notice how it sort of feels like fear. Is it fear or is it actually excitement that you've misidentified and misapplied?
I guess it's both. I mean, I'm conscious that it's both.
Uh-huh. Is it fear or excitement?
Right now, it's more excitement at this stage.
Okay, but that is...
When I'm in front, that's another...
Uh-huh. Not anymore, I hope. Okay, because literally this changes the underlying energy that makes it that thing, that makes it fear. Because here's the thing. Fear, for most people, is actually excitement that you've misidentified and misapplied. Yeah. And physiologically, they're exactly the same. But people go around with their lives run by fear, when for most of them, it's actually excitement. So
I am excited
Yeah.
to some extent because it represents, a connection and transmission and sharing. So it's exciting.
can I say something else?
Yes.
You said I'm excited because. Are you excited because of all that, or are you just darn excited? For all kind. See, what happens is
Yes.
you're like, yes, darn it. Darn it.
Bring it on.
Exactly. But that's the thing. When you don't have to have the because, then you can just go, oh my God, I'm excited. Yes, bring it. How does it get any better than this? Which is another one of my favorite questions.
Yes.
Watch the first video for that one.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, we have to go back into that.
Okay, we'll go to that too. But
That's really
realize for you, it's like you're just excited. It's part of why people love watching you. It's part of why people love following you around the world. Like, oh my God, what's she going to bring me today?
Dane! Oh, I had to come to meet him here in Santa Barbara. I had to.
I'm so glad you
This is
did.
exciting.
And for me too.
Yeah.
I flew here from Houston to do this,
And I received so many messages from people all around the world saying, "Oh my God, we love this guy. Bring on more of him."
So cool. Awesome. Thank you. So this excitement. Okay, notice when we got to 100 people, it got exciting. So now get the way it would feel to perform or speak in front of 1,000 people. Now 10,000. Now 50,000. Now 100,000. Now 1,000,000. Everything that is, times a godzillion, we destroy and create it, please. Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. And I'm saying, will you destroy and uncreate? Because what we're doing is, and in this work, the beauty of it is you can't hurt someone with it. And you can't destroy and uncreate what you already are as a being. You can only destroy and uncreate the limitation that you're pretending to be. So, for example, if you go out there and you get all that energy that we just experienced here, right, as you even thought about doing it, and you go, wow, this is excitement, and you don't even have to go to, oh my God, am I afraid a little? If you don't even have to go to that at all.
I feel peace right now.
Exactly. And that's what
serenity
too. Yes. There's a peace, there's a serenity, and underneath it is this ball of, not a ball even, it's this energy that comes from you actually getting to be present. And then you can speak to your audience in a totally different way. In a way that doesn't, in a way that's not, oh my gosh, what am I going to say wrong, or what do I have to say, or whatever. That's just a way of, here I am, what can I contribute to you? What can we create together? Creates a totally different energy when you're speaking in front of people. So, and this is how easy it is to change. That's the thing I love about it, is no matter what area, in even the deeply entrenched areas a lot of times, it's actually that easy to start changing it.
I love that. And I love how does it get any better than this, even in bad situations, huh?
Yes, and that's one of the things you want to realize is what most people do in a bad situation is they go, oh no, you know, like, where's the question? Or, oh, this sucks, or, oh, what did I do wrong, or, oh, how bad am I? Rather than going, hey, let's change it. And all you have to do is go, how does it get any better than this? And it starts changing. A couple other questions that you can ask are, what's it going to take to change this? What else is possible here? And what's right about this I'm not getting? But the how does it get any better than this, you want to ask in a good situation or a bad situation. You know, and I've told the story, you know, I can tell the same story or a different story, but, you know, it's like literally there are so many cases in which people have used this. You know, we talked about it in the last interview with this lady, she was coming to a class that I was giving, and in the idea of this bad situation, her flight was canceled. And she went up to the lady who was behind the counter and she said, oh, it's canceled. Okay, how does it get any better than that? And the lady looked at her like, what? What do you, and she starts typing in her computer and she said, well, I don't think I can find anything. I just looked, you know, and she had just looked for other people. She's like, I don't think there's anything available. And the lady said, okay, well, how does it get any better than that? And the lady starts typing more and she looks and she gets this weird look on her face and she's like, oh my God, I found a flight that will actually get you there tonight. It'll get you there early. And she keeps typing and she goes, but the only available seat is in business class. So is it okay if I upgrade you? and the lady behind the counter, you know, was standing there. The lady that was doing the typing was like surprised in her own world because she had just tried this whole thing for somebody else, but the somebody else didn't ask the question. The somebody else was like, oh, that's the way it's got to be. Anytime you go, that's the way it's got to be. Anytime you conclude anything, nothing that doesn't match that conclusion can come into your world. How does it get any better than this? Undoes the conclusion and opens up for possibilities. And literally, the lady got upgraded to business class. She got there early by going through a different airport, and that seat was not there before, apparently. So what else is possible?
And it totally shifts our reality. We're really co-creating our reality every day the way we want by opening those questions and opening ourselves up.
Yes.
And the universe just shifts that quickly. Yeah? This is a miracle?
This is what people would call a miracle. And on the one hand, if you look at it, a miracle from here, if you function from here, it's just an application of consciousness, an application of natural law, if you will. You know what I mean? Yeah. So you'd go, oh, it's a miracle, which it is. But if you look from here, you're like, well, of course. Why wouldn't we be able to create that? You know? And so it really is. And the thing that you said about creating our lives, that's one thing most people don't do. It's so weird. Most people are like, oh, well, here's where I live. Here's my job. Here's my this. Here. And so they've got their lives concluded. They're not actually even creating them. They don't wake up in the morning and go, oh my gosh, how can I create more today? What can I create today that I couldn't create yesterday? What would I like to create as my life today? How does my life get any better than this? Yeah. You know, most people are just sort of content with what has been rather than looking to create what they'd truly like to create.
Or trying to find an answer, like for a lot of people are looking for their life purpose. So you're really saying it's not a matter of finding it, right?
Yes.
It's just experiencing and how does it get any better than this? And at some point things will shift.
Yeah. And it's also, you know, this POC and POD that we did. Yeah. It's like, it's also having the tools to change the limited points of view about what life can't be. Yeah. And where have you bought those points of view? Because remember, 98% of your thoughts, feelings, and emotions don't belong to you. So 98% of what you think your life has to be that you don't like, probably the reason you don't like it is because it was never your point of view about what life had to be in the first place. So all of these pieces play together, but you start to realize, wait a minute, I've been living a life that is based on mom's point of view, dad's point of view. I've been starting relationships with people my mom and dad would have liked rather than me. I've been having their money situation because I'm not willing to be different than, you see all these areas in which you want to look at your life and go, how does it get any better than that? And then pock and pod everything that doesn't allow it to actually start getting better.
Just pock and pod.
Yeah.
That's the short for again.
For right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, or pock and pod, all 9, shorts, boys, and beyonds.
Yeah. I'm still not getting the boys part.
Yeah, the boys part. You want me to explain? Okay, so this boys thing. I know you're like, why is it not girls? Because it's limited, so that's why we called it a boy. Because boys are used to knowing that no matter what happens, they're a boy, so they're probably wrong for what they did. You know what I mean? That's just one of the things we learn as men. Everything that brought up, right, wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all 9, shorts, boys, and beyonds. In actuality, these boys are these things called nucleated spheres. And what happens is, if you've ever done work where you've been told you need to peel the layers of the onion, and you peel and you peel and you peel and you peel and you peel, and all you get are tears, it's because it's not actually an onion. It's this thing called a nucleated sphere, which is a sphere and another one outside of that and another one outside of that and another one outside of that. And this is where the core of the limitation is. But what happens is you do all kinds of work and all kinds of work and all kinds of work, and you're like, oh, yes. And what happens is you pop the outer layer and you're like, yes, I'm finally free. And then all of a sudden it regrows. And you're like, what? It's kind of like one of those little kids' bubble pipes, where they have the 4 things, and you blow over here and it makes all these bubbles. And if you pop one bubble, another one fills in. And if you pop one, another one fills in. It's kind of like that. And the source of it isn't here. It's actually over here. So all of you listening, all the onions you've been peeling in all of your various lifetimes, including this one, that are still not peeled, and because they're not onions, they're actually nucleated spheres. All of those that you've been peeling that all you've gotten is tears, we now destroy and uncreate everything that allows them to exist. Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all 9, shorts, boys, and beyonds. That's got a bit of energy. Apparently the people listening have been doing that rather dynamically. And this is one of the things that we found that keeps limitation repeating over and over and over in people's lives. And they're these energetic structures. Now, and the thing is, I don't know where they came from. And the weird part is, I don't care where they came from. Yeah. What I find is, and this is with all of Access, we're really busy doing it and changing people's lives rather than trying to prove that it works. So if somebody out there knows how to prove that it works, more than happy to have you come along and do so, please. Okay, but that's not where my interest lies. My interest is in changing the world, not proving that eventually we can one day change the world. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And you're seeing it in your life. Things have so much shifted from your chiropractic practice to now.
So much.
You're in Texas.
So much. Yeah, exactly. That's one of the things that's changed. And I actually like it, which is kind of weird. And I love Santa Barbara too. Yes. But it's not, and the thing is, I am definitely seeing it in my life in every aspect. People ask me, what's changed in your life since you started doing Access? I'm like, the list of what hasn't changed will be a lot smaller because everything has. But more important to me is that I actually see it change in other people's lives. See, it'd be one thing if I came along and I used all this stuff and my life changed and it was awesome, but nobody else's did. That would have no value to me. It's like I wouldn't be talking to you or anybody else. I'd just go be living my life if it didn't work for other people. So what's of interest to me is that other people's lives change because I know easy for me to say in English. I know what it's like.
We can do it in French.
I know that's not any better, trust me. But like I said before, I would love to sit here and just listen to you speak French. You guys out here speak, oh my God. Anyway, so the thing is, it's like literally though, I know what it's like to hate your life. Yeah. I know what it's like to hate waking up in the morning, and that sucks. Yeah. And there are far too many people on the planet that live there. And so what I'm saying is the tools are available, and I do my best to make as many of them available to as many people as possible. And people go, how can you give all this stuff away? You need to hold it back so people will come do your stuff. I'm like, you don't live in the universe I live in. The more I give away, the more I get from the universe. And that's the way we could live that way, with this generosity of what can I contribute to you, knowing that I'll get a contribution. That's literally the way we can live. Yes. It's just that we've sort of gotten a bit from that.
Yes. And I forgot what I wanted to say.
Tell me.
No, because I'm excited to do a second part on sex. Aren't we going to speak about sex?
Please.
Yes.
Yes, we're going to talk about sex.
You want to know how to have a better sex life? Where is it? Stay tuned, my beautiful co-creators. I had another question. It's not coming back up because the sex is gonna. We're gonna just continue.
do it. Yes, we will do it.
Okay, let's go to part 2.
Talk about it is what I meant to say. Don't get me in trouble.
Oh, I found my question. Changing the world is the so you believe that by us, being more opening that light and being that, and not so much kind of living our life through what society or other people have imposed on us. Yes. We could really change the world. You really think we can change the world?
Well, my point of view is it's the only thing that ever has changed the world. Remarkable people truly being them, and not being willing to buy into the limitations that other people said were so real and needed to be there, are the only thing that ever truly has changed the world. Do I believe that we can do it? Yes. Do I also believe we're really on a short time frame? Yes. From my point of view, the way I'm looking at it right now, and I'm hoping this changes, and I'm hoping we create the change that allows it to happen, we probably got about 15 years. Probably about 15 years where if we don't reverse things in the way that we're functioning on this planet, I don't know that our planet will be able to sustain life for us. In other words, it's not that 15 years we're all going to go away, but if we don't make changes within 15 years, we don't have many years beyond that of the planet being able to be sustainably living. And so one of the questions I suggest that people ask is, what would I have to be or do different today to create a sustainable living Earth for the next 10,000 years? It's a totally different way of looking at things. And, it takes a conversation from, I'm focusing on my bills and my blah, 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 and goes, whoosh. And so in some people's worlds, it kind of blows them out of the water when I just bring up the question. But it's something that you want to look at. It's like, what would you have to be or do different to create a sustainable living planet for the next 10,000 years? And a lot of people don't want to look and go, hey, the way we are functioning with each other, the way we're functioning with our planet, our judgments, our separation, our anger, our rage, our fury, and our hate are killing us, and they're killing our planet. We got to stop. We've got to create something greater. But it starts with us, and it's not, and the weird part is, the reason I wrote Being You, Changing the World, is because it truly is about us being us that changes all of those things. Yeah. And us actually stepping into the awareness of, I've got some capacities and potencies, and I, just by my very being, can be a contribution. And I think a lot of people don't realize that. I think they've given up on the idea that they can be a contribution, and because they have that point of view, they stop contributing. Well, what if you realize that you are the contribution the Earth requires? I mean, right now, and this may sound really funny or strange to some of you listening, but just ask the planet, hey, Earth, hey, what contribution can I be to you? And what contribution can you be to me that I've never been willing to ask for before? Because the Earth has consciousness. Every molecule in existence has consciousness. And the molecules of this planet have consciousness. And there's a consciousness that is this planet. That's why we call her Mother Earth, because she's got that nurturing capacity. If you've seen the movie Avatar, where they talk about Ewa, it's way more like that than I think we've been willing to acknowledge. And it seems that we've sort of broken ourselves into camps. We're either, business people in this, or we're Earth people in. No, let's dissolve those camps. Let's allow what the people who know about this connection with the Earth, let's allow them to contribute to the people who are phenomenal with business and money, so we can actually create sustainably conscious businesses. Let's come together. Yeah. Let's end the separation, and let's actually embrace the possibilities for going beyond the reality that we currently have to something that actually embraces all of us and actually embraces all of us on the planet.
Beautiful. I love this conversation. Oh my goodness. Thank you, Dane.
Thank you so much.
And please come and watch the part 2 on sex. Part 2. It's coming now.